Hi guys, my name is Armando Amador, and today my partner and I are going to be discussing the Jungian and Freudian psychoanalytical theory when it comes to the children's story, The Lion King. For those unfamiliar with The Lion King revolves around a young lion Simba who leaves his pride after he mistakenly killed his father and tricked by his uncle Scar. He later returns in life to take his rightful place as the leader of Pride Rock. Today I'll be talking about the Jung psychoanalytical theory when it comes to The Lion King. Now, before I begin my Jungian analysis of The Lion King, there's a few things you need to know about him. He believed in the collective unconscious, which was basically the representation of ideals. He believed that the ego is part of, but not the entire personality. And he believed that the subconscious represented itself in the idea of symbols. Now, our hero archetype is Simba, and he is the only one that's really given any depth in terms of character development. It can be argued that literally every other character is simply an archetype of his subconscious, helping him become a fully more integrated self, as Jung would put it, through the instances of Mufasa, Rafiki, and Timon and Pumbaa, each one showing a different way in which he can become a fully integrated person. The instance of this is through Rafiki, and he basically helps him confront his own shadow and past, and helps him realize that he is meant to follow in his father's footsteps. The first archetype that we have is the shapeshifter slash ruler, and that's most identified by Scar. He's constantly trying to trick the hero and make him feel as if he is the one in the wrong. He is willing to do anything for power, is for instance killing his own brother. Next we have the mentor archetype, which is represented mostly by Mufasa, and he attempts to teach the hero that there is a power that comes from understanding the balance in life and guides him even after death, which is kind of a perfect example of the Jungian subconscious kind of guiding the person and helping self-actualization occur. The trickster is represented by the baboon Rafiki, and he basically reminds Simba of his purpose in a very roundabout way through very cryptic riddles and having him look into a reflection pond, just kind of making him realize that he's not that different from his father and reminding him of his true purpose. The next archetype that we have is the Travelers, and that's both presented by Timon and Pumbaa, and they kind of show a different way of life to the main character Simba through the term of Hakuna Matata. Not very much is spent on them, but it just kind of shows Simba that there is a different way of life and there is something beyond the sons of Pride Rock.
I'm Lissandra Sotolongo, and this is the Freudian perspective of the Lion King. In the beginning of the story, Simba is in the phatic stage of his life. He is experiencing what Freud called the Oedipus complex. That means he would like to replace his father and take over all of his father's possessions, including his mother. Mufasa tells Simba that everything the light touches will one day be his, implying that Simba will one day be the king of the Pride Lands. He expresses his excitement over this, and I just can't wait to be king. Simba also experiences Oedipal competitiveness when he disobeys Mufasa and goes to the elephant graveyard. He tells Nala that he laughs in the face of danger. However, his bravery is crushed when he is attacked by the hyenas and has to be rescued by Mufasa. Simba displays an inflated sense of self-importance, which is shown when he says, "Everywhere you look, I'm standing in the spotlight," which shows that his superego has not yet formed in his psyche. After his father's death, Simba runs away and uses his defense mechanism, isolation, to not think about the grief of his father's death. During his intrapsychic conflict, Simba decides to satisfy his id and reject his superego, when he abandons his responsibilities and moves with Timon and Pumbaa. This part of the story is the latency period in Simba's life. Timon and Pumbaa represent the id for Simba. Their philosophy in life is Hakuna Matata, which means no worries, and they both live their life carefree and without responsibilities. They represent a place for Simba to hide away from his responsibilities. Simba's latency period ends when Nala finds Simba and reminds him of his responsibilities. Rafiki then tells Simba that his father lives within him, which prompts the ghost of Mufasa to come talk to Simba and tell him that he must face his responsibilities and return home, which represents Simba's superego. The three main characters in The Lion King represent the id, the ego, and the superego. Scar, the villain, represents the id. He is a primitive character who relies mostly on his primary urges and completely disregards his superego because he wants to be the king at any cost, including getting rid of his brother and nephew. Scar also displays some of Freud's defense mechanisms, such as denial, where he acts all grandiose around the hyenas even though he's not a king, and projection, where he gets his anger that he has at Mufasa and projects it onto Simba. Mufasa can be seen as the superego. He is the moral conscience of the story, and he makes decisions for his pride based on what is right and what is fair. He even tells Simba that there is more to being king than getting your own way. Simba can be seen as the ego. He is the balance between the id and the superego. He does both what is right and what he wants. At the end of the movie, Simba banishes Scar rather than killing him, which shows how much his ego has grown since the beginning of the movie.